As you see my picture there on there, that was my sweet Halloween costume. Wasn't really that sweet, honestly, but it is what it is. That's the Commissioner's Corner Week 8 edition. Whoa. I don't know why that wasn't showing up originally, but it is what it is. After a lot of testing, I believe I figured out what the issue was with my audio this whole time. But you guys don't care about that, but it should be better now. So, hope you all had a good Halloween. I know I certainly did. Gimped around Hudson for a while, but we don't care about Halloween or the horror show that was the MUSL this week. Especially for one, we'll talk about it later in a second. But so yeah, people complained about the fact that I addressed the wrong issue, which was the playoff seeding, not the payouts. But we're gonna tackle that right now. First thing we're gonna do is look at the top 10. We don't really have to worry about the spoiler alert because it's all right there. Just go over number 10 here. I don't know why that's so small all of a sudden, but let's make it a little bigger, shall we? Okay. Oh my God, too big. Anyway, obviously, number 10 is going to be the Tallywhackers here. They're 6-2 with a 622 points scored. Number 9 is Runs Like a Girly, 625 points. Number 8 is formerly number 11, Tenacious D. So all these guys are moving up. They're 6-2 now with 635. Number 7, a team has no name, is on a free fall, ladies and gentlemen. He has gone from 6-0 to 6-2, back-to-back losses, which opens the door for other people in his division, as you will see in a second. Still scored 646 points, not too shabby. Way to go, Mr. Koski, I believe your name is. Number 6, up from number 8, is Gregory Clegane. They're 6-2 with 669 score. Now, check out this big drop, though. Providence Power, my own personal team, is number 5. They've only scored 595 points, but they are 7-1, which is record is ultimately the more important thing for the most part, as we will discuss here in a minute. Number 4 is Password is Taco, up from number 6, also 7-1. They've scored a few more points than Providence, 611 points. Big jump up there to Ashley Manning's HGH Supplier. They are now number 3 in the nation, up from number 4. They've scored 624 points. Number 2, up from number 3, is Old Papa's Playas, everyone's favorite name. At least some people's favorite name. His birthday was just recently, I believe, if I saw on Facebook. He's 7-1 and 631 points. Number 1, he is 3 weeks away from immortality, ladies and gentlemen. Wally is 8-0, still the only team undefeated. He's going to be the only team undefeated until he loses, of course. No one's going to unwin or unlose a game. So can Wally make history? That is the question. He's 3 weeks away from the perfect season. And then you get to after this next week, as you'll see in a minute, you get to the question is, does he want to go undefeated? Or should he, once he gets the division locked up, which is not locked up, by the way, as you'll see in a minute, does he even try to go undefeated and go for the history books, or does he play it smart, play it safe, and just play a bunch of bums once he gets that division locked up, if he gets the division locked up? Now, there are some divisions in this league where if he was 8-0, it'd be over already. But the division he's in right now, definitely not the case. We'll find out more about that in a minute. So, okay. So last week, people wanted to know, they want to know the payouts. I had like a math glitch in the middle of the podcast, so we're going to talk about that at the end here again. But so also people want to know how the playoff picture works. Well, let me tell you how the playoff picture works, okay? So the playoffs here run from weeks 12 through 17. So it's a long playoff stretch, but we have 96 teams. And we don't have like 10 teams make the playoffs, no. So we have 24 teams make the playoffs, which is why it's so lengthy. And I'll tell you, the first sign of an amateur fantasy football league is if their playoffs go into week 17, because as anyone who's any self-respecting fantasy owner will know, you don't want to have week 17 players because you don't have week 17 finals, I should say, because if your team is already wrapped up, they won't even play their best players. So yes, under normal circumstances, if you have a Week 17 finals, your league is garbage and you do not deserve to run a league. Because if I had Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady as my starting quarterback and they already had their division wrapped up and they bench him in the finals of my week, I'd probably kill myself and more importantly, kill the commissioner. MUSL's a little bit different, however, because if our playoffs, they go to Week 17. So, and if Aaron Rodgers is going to get benched because he's, they've already won that division, which might not happen, by the way, just don't start him. I mean, you'll know this in advance. Start him in week 16 if you have to. And not only that, but I mean, the other person's at the exact same disadvantage you are. Whereas in a regular fantasy league, if you had Aaron Rodgers, someone else had Brock Osweiler, and Osweiler's got to play in week 17, and your quarterback doesn't play in week 16, you're effed. In our league, everyone has the same advantage versus disadvantage. So our league goes all the way to play out to week 17. Don't think we're amateurs. We've already thought about it all. So we go from week 12 to week 17. Now, there are 24 playoff spots. How does it work? Oh, yet again, I have to make it bigger so people can see it. Let me show you how it works here, okay? So, you notice that these three colors here, and the three colors represent the different types of seeds there are, okay? I should have probably made this a little bit more presentable beforehand, but you know what? I was busy. So, okay. So here we go. Now you can see. Now, what do these colors mean, James? Well, let me tell you what they mean. Now, this is the playoff picture should the league end today, which obviously we still have a lot of football left. But if it were to end today, we would be looking at the following picture, okay? The pink means that these are the division / I should say conference winners, okay? The conference winners are the first 8 seeds to go, period, okay? So right now, Wally obviously is undefeated. He would have the number 1 seed because he's 8-0, and thus he has the best record. Thus, I mean, he would get the number 1 seed. Then it goes strictly to the next conference winner, who at this point is Ashley Manning's HGH supplier. Now, don't worry about these numbers on the side, because there's numbers. I mean, the number on the very side is their seed, but the number before that, this is last week's rankings. So, like, whoa, I thought Old Papa's players were number 2. They are number 2. This is last week's ranking. So, Ashley Manning's HGH supplier would be the number 2 seed, followed by Password is Taco, followed by Providence Power, just based on record. Now, once you get to record, you can't see what I'm pointing at. Once you get to record, right here, you can see now where I'm pointing at. The tiebreaker there is points. Okay, now normally in the standings, tiebreaker is head-to-head record, but these teams will never play each other unless it gets to the playoffs because they're all in different conferences. So, at this point, pun intended, points is the tiebreaker. So if there's 3-7-1 teams, the team with the most points, a.k.a. Ashley Manning's HGH supplier here, would get the number 2 seed. Number 3 seed would be Password is Taco. Number 4 is Providence Power. Then it drops to the 6-2 teams of all the division winners. Gregory Clegane with 669 points. Tenacious D with 635. Runs Like a Girly 624. And Irish Shamrock 603. So those are the top 8 seeds. And what's important and why it is critical to win your conference in this league is that you get a bye the first week of the playoffs if you win your conference. Pretty good. There's a lot of there's 12 teams in every conference, and if you win that, you get awarded. You may get awarded financially. We're going to talk about that in a second too. But you do definitely get awarded by having a bye the first week of the playoffs. A bye in the Survivor League is absolutely enormous because it's a whole week of players you do not have to waste. So, yeah, you want to win your conference, okay? Now, the blue teams, a.k.a. these guys, once you pluck out all of the conference winners, the next 9 seeds, so seeds 9 through 18, go to, a.k.a. these guys, go to the next best records, okay? So, yes, it's true. Old Papa's Players, now number 2 in the nation, they would get the number 9 seed overall, even though they're probably the best. They are statistically the second best team in the nation. They get the 9 seed because they don't win their conference, nor do they get a bye, which is why it's so important to win your damn conference so you can get the bye, as I mentioned 30 seconds ago. The number 10 seed would be a team has no name because, again, this goes to tiebreaker. Here goes to points for the most part in this situation. This actually can go to head-to-head record if it needs to. I didn't do that at this point because of the fact that these aren't real numbers. They're only because the season hasn't ended today. Number 10 seed would be the Tallywhackers. The number 11 seed would be the Tallywhackers. Number 12 would be Jerry Springer. Number 13 would be New Orleans Rock Chalks. 14, Bill Polian Dynamite. Number 15 would be Avadio Honey Badgers. Number 16 would be the unranked Nasty Nutria. Number 17 would be Honolulu Blue Balls. Number 18 would be Better Bring Your A Game. So all the 6-2 teams would make it, but only the top 3 5-3 teams would make it because of the fact that there's only so many spots for record, which is why you want to score points, because if you get in a tie with someone and the tiebreaker ultimately is most points. You want to score as many points as possible. But even more so, why you want to score points is these green guys down here look like Ninja Turtles. Once you scrub out the division winners, these guys, and once you scrub out the best records, these guys, the next 3 seeds, so seeds 19 through 21, go to the teams that are left that have scored the most points, okay? So even if your team is 1-10, if you scored 1,000 points one week, theoretically, you have a chance because once all the best record teams are gone and all the conference winners are gone, the next 3 seeds, 3, count them, 1, 2, 3, seeds go to the teams with the most points. So, yes, there's a lot of 5-3 teams. If theoretically the season were to end right now, they'd be like, well, I'm 5-3. Why does the Donkey Punchers, the Broskis, and my Crabtree Inches get in there? Because I'm 5-3. Well, you're 5-3, but you haven't scored as many points as these guys. It's not all about winning and losing when it comes to the playoffs because you can get in based on how many points you scored, which is why you want to submit the best lineup every week, period. So, if we're to end right now, the Donkey Punchers, the Broskis, and my Crabtree Itches, all 3 would be in the playoffs, even though the record isn't very good. My Crabtree Itches, he's 3-5, for example, but what if he scores 95 points and he loses to someone who scores 97 points? The loss sucks, but in our league, those 95 points still definitely mean a lot, okay? So then you get to these bottom 3 seeds here, and this is the one that causes some controversy, but most people seem to love it, okay? I've been doing fantasy football for going on 30 years. In fact, I believe next year will be our 30th year of fantasy sports that I've been involved in. And I'm 34. So do the math. I think I started when I was 6. So it might be 2 years from now. Yeah, 6 years old doing fantasy sports. True story. It was fantasy baseball. I've been doing fantasy football for, I think, 24 years now. But anyway, who cares? I mean, I'm not sure when it was for that. I'll do the research. But nobody cares. Everybody wants to know, what the hell? Why are these 3 spots left open? Well, these 3 spots here are lottery picks, okay? So, as many people have noticed in the past with leagues, people who are, they don't do great. Say your name's Bob Ames, you haven't won a game still. I don't know if you won this week, actually. I haven't checked. But I will definitely check because it's my favorite part of the show. If let's say going into the final week you're 3-8 at the end of the season, okay? Or let's say this week. Let's say right now you're 0-8, for example. A lot of leagues you'd be like, meh, I'm done. I can't ever make the playoffs. I can't ever win the big prize pot. What's the point? And that basically sabotages the entire league. Now we do a very rigorous process of trying to weed out shitty owners that would never do this, but it happens every year. That's why we try to replace them quickly with owners who care. But even still, we want to reward you for sticking with this league because these final 3 spots are given via lottery. Okay, now what do I mean by that? Well, once you scrub out these top 8 seeds here before the division, then you scrub out these top 9, the 9 best records, then you take out these top 3 for points, you're still left with, 72 teams? 73 teams? Yeah, 73 teams. And those 73 teams are here. Bang. Okay? These are the 73 teams that are left theoretically. Although I made a slight mistake. These 2 shouldn't be here. Let's take these out. Let's take these out because these are my. Look how far my Crabtree Itches is down there. Oh, Yeti Express won this week. Congratulations, Bob Ames. You deserve it. Delete this. So these are the teams that are left. Okay, these are the teams that are left. What this is every single team is eligible for this lottery, providing you aren't, a shitbag who hasn't been replaced. Because if your shitbag hasn't been replaced, you get blacklisted from the playoff drawing. So, every win you get during the regular season gets you 1 ticket into the lottery, okay? So, we have the Red Wings, for example, all the way down through Parsky. They each have 5 wins right now. If the season were to end today, they each get 5 tickets in the lottery. Now, this is a digital drawing. We have a random number. We basically put everything into a spreadsheet, randomly assign every ticket a number, and then we will, we typically will roll dice to see what number gets drawn. So it's, and it's all live, by the way, so we will definitely live stream it this year. And then that, whatever thing it falls on, they get They get the okay, sorry. Got a message on Facebook. Had to read it. They get if their number gets picked, they get in. So the more wins you have, the better your chance your number is going to get picked. Obviously, I can't respond to you, Scott, right now. Can't. Sorry. So I mean, basically, even Bob Ames, which would be the ultimate story, if he randomly got his number drawn, one out of God knows how many tickets, it'd be awesome. Yeah, it would suck for a lot of people who are 5-3, but it's the way the cookie crumbles. You had the best chance. If you really wanted to make the playoffs, you could have made the playoffs the more traditional way. So this way, it adds a little excitement at the end of the year. It makes it to where the people who have the best record have the best chance of getting in, but there's never a guarantee. So that's how those final three things go, okay? That's how the final three seeds go. Go back here. Final three seeds would be, boom, lottery pick 1, lottery pick 2, lottery pick 3, boom, done, okay? So on to the next thing. Okay, now this week, last week I mentioned it in the podcast. I was going to do a vote. Have you put in the comments proposal 1 versus proposal 2, but the proposals weren't really well thought out because I kind of had that brain fart in the middle of it. Little bit better here, a little bit clearer picture here on what these proposals will, because I'm going to make an actual poll this week as soon as I post this thing up here. Proposal 1 would be that the division winners will get basically 25% of the prize money. Again, the reason these aren't concrete numbers is because of the fact that I don't know how much money is actually in the pool yet because, again, some people don't pay and it's garbage, but it is what it is. Basically, under this proposal, 25% of the total prize money after the expenses for the league, because the site is like $100 and some to purchase, would go to the division winners. So on this proposal, if there's $1,500, $50 for every division winner, okay? And then the final four would get, you'd basically get another $40, so you'd basically make them about $100. Third place game, the winner would get basically $150. Second place game would get an extra $200, extra $200. And then the first place would get an extra $600. So realistically, the better you do in the finals, the more money you get. But a big chunk of that money is going to the division winners under Proposal 1. Okay, so basically, Proposal 1, division winners get money. Proposal 2, division winners do not get money. The only people that get money are the final four teams. This is the way we've done it historically, because the prize payouts are much, 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 much better. Okay, so how Proposal 2 works is the final four cut up 20% of the prize pool. So if it was $100 or $1,500, every member of the final four would get $150. Bang! Congratulations, you made $150. The third place game winner would get an extra $50, so you'd basically get $200 for third place. The second place winner would get an extra $100, so you'd get $250 for coming in second place. And then, of course, the winner would get the lion's share of the prize money, which is about 50% on top of the 20%. So they basically get about 70% of the money. So first place is the big payday. Historically, the Final Four is where the payouts start. However, this year I think we have enough good owners and enough, enough pedigree really to say, hey, you know what? If you guys want to have a chance to win, more people win less money, that's fine. That's up to you. So this is the official proposal right here. So Proposal 1, division winners get money. Proposal 2, only the Final Four get money. So we will put it live here in a minute. So let's go and take a look at some games to watch. There's one huge one here to watch. I don't know what this is all about. Where the heck did the schedules go? All right, so thought I should have standings. Okay, there they are. So in the standings, game to watch, we don't really have a ton in this first conference, I don't think. Where'd it go? I'm sorry. This is awkward radio silence. All right, okay, here we go. Week 9. Riverside Raging Rain Corps taking on Killer Miller. Nobody cares. Roster baiters on. No, nobody cares. Nobody cares. So we're gonna get to the big ones here. Okay, we're gonna get to the Week 9 matchups. First and foremost, one key one to watch here is where the hell's it at? Damn, it's way down here. Bad Mama Jammas versus the Black Hole. That's a big one there because Bad Mama Jammas, ever since it's been taken over, has been doing very well, whereas the Black Hole is not very far out of the playoffs at all. The Black Hole is going to be where? What the fuck? Sorry. Black Hole, 5-3. let's start at the top. Tenacious D 6-2. Okay, they have to start winning a couple more games and they'll be fine. But they have 3 teams here. Team Major Key, that was the one that I was worried about. The 3 teams here are 5-3. Staff Infected Johnson, Team Major Key, Riverside Region Rain Corps. Now these guys, Riverside Region Rain Corps, they do play. I'm not going to go too far into this because of the fact that there's so many things that could come up here. They do play Staff Infected Johnson the final week of the season, so just keep that on the radar because they are kind of close here. Going down here, the Irish Shamrocks, the Oviedo Honey Badgers, and Tallywhackers, all 3 of them are 6-2. Brutal Broncos and Honolulu Balls are 5-3. They are this is going to be probably the tightest division to watch, okay? No doubt about it. There's so many scenarios that can play out here. Not really going to even get into it. Now, this is the division I was looking for, the Clark Griswold division here. They have Password is Taco. So close to wrapping up this division. But there is one major obstacle in his way, and his name is Andrea Jezerski now. Rob Jezerski's wife, okay? These 2 play each other this week, I believe. Password is Taco. Let's look here and see. They play Parsky this week, okay? Now, let me just tell you how big this game is for this division here, because Jackson Cornholers, I mean, 4-4 and below, it's an outside chance you could still win this conference, very outside. But the Jackson Cornholers and Parsky definitely can, and it all starts this week with Parsky, if they can defeat Password is Taco, opens up a world of possibilities. If Parsky loses this game, they are now going to be 5-4, and Password is Taco is going to be 8-1, and they will lose the tiebreaker. So this is your season, Parsky. Make no mistake about it, Andrea. If you lose this week to Password is Taco, your chance of winning the conference is virtually gone. Jackson Cornholers needs the freaking Parsky to win, too, because I mean, there's only 2 weeks left after this next round here. Could be week 10 and 11. So if Parsky can't beat Password is Taco will be 8-1. Even if Jackson Cornholers wins, they'll be 6-3. I mean, it's gonna be a tough one. Do they play each other yet? Jackson Cornholers play Parsky, but who won that game there? Password is Taco beat Jackson Cornholers. So yeah, who the hell did they lose to? Password is Taco lost to... Wow, they barely beat Tecumseh in week 1. Password is Taco. Super Original beat Password is Taco. Where are they at in this playoff hunt? They're 4-4. Probably not going to make it there. So yeah, Password is Taco versus Parsky is a huge game. Going down here, this is crazy. You got 3 6-2 teams. Gregory Clegane, Bill Poling Dynamite, Jerry Springer Election. They don't really. I mean, Bill Poling Dynamite playing Flatliners on a goddamn free fall if I've ever seen one. Flatliners, which is Mr. Fowler's team, I believe, was 4-0, and now they are 4-4. Ouch. The best game in this week, I think, for this division is Bad Mama Jammas versus the Black Hole, even though neither of them are 6-2. Jerry Springer Elections taking on Jackson Cornholers at 3-5, and Grigori Clegane is taking on Chainbang and Cervix Destroyers, who needs a new owner, I believe, because they've been blacklisted twice. I don't even know who the hell owns that team. Matt Tawney, I saw you at the zombie walk, and now your team's a zombie. What the hell's going on with you? And then we got the Jeff Spicoli Conference down here. Providence Power winning again. They're taking on the Donkey Punchers, who, despite the fact of being 4-4, technically would be a playoff team right now. A team has no name. Is this guy ever going to stop the free fall? They've lost 2 in a row, taking on Sioux Girls 1 Cup, last year's runner-up. He's got a lot to play for in terms of pride. Tony Cromwell does. Nasty Nutria still alive in this race here. They're playing Ram Man and Fisto, fresh off a nice victory this week, although they are 2-6. Big game there. Now, this is it, folks. This is it. They may not be undefeated, but I'm pretty sure this is the biggest game in the history of the Michigan Ultimate Survivor League. 2 weeks ago, there were 2 undefeated teams playing it when they were 6-0. That is nothing compared to this. You know why? Because this week, if you look over here, we're going to scroll down here and show this. That's right. This week, we have the number 1 team in the nation playing the number 2 team in the nation in week 8. Week 9. Shit, it's week 9. I always do the podcast to talk about the week before. So this is week 9, and you have number 1 Wally taking on number 2 Old Papa's Players. The biggest game in Michigan Ultimate Survivor League history. Everything is on the line here, okay? So if you look at this conference here, you have Wally and Old Papa's Players 2 games up. Old Papa's Players 2 games up. Wally's 3 games up on the next thing. So this division is over, okay? One of these 2 teams, with barring craziness, is going to win this conference. Now, is the whole conference going to be decided on this week? No. But if Wally wins, it certainly pretty much will be. So Wally, not only is, I mean, we were talking earlier about, does he go for history or does he just go for the smart way of winning the conference? Guess what? This week, it doesn't matter. The dude has to win. It is the biggest game in the history of his franchise, biggest game in the history of our conference, biggest game in the history of our league, potentially. Old Papa's Players, if they lose, they will be 7-2 and have lost the tiebreaker to Wally. If Wally wins this, the whole Survivor League should be watching this game intently. If Wally wins, he will be 9-0, have a 2-game lead on Old Papa's Players, and have the tiebreaker, which is virtually a 3-game lead. So what's to stop Wally from not playing any starters for 2 extra weeks? So you're telling me that if Wally wins this week, he'll be 9-0 with, I mean, I got to see who he plays in the future here, because he plays T-Tokes and Wyckoff John and friends. So he's already done the damage here. The Kazoo Crazies, are they the other team that's Kazoo Crazies are the other team that's playing Wally. Wally's beating him, okay? So even if Wally wins, he's going to be 9-0. He can coast for 2 weeks, and the worst he'll be is 9-2. He will win the conference. Pretty much. Okay? Yeah, because even if Old Papa's Players, loses this week to him and they win out, they'll still have lost the tiebreaker. So this is it, folks. Wally, I don't know if you watch these things, but if you win this week, you'll be 9-0. You can literally start backups for the next 2 weeks because you will have won this conference because you'll be 9-2 at the end of the year. You'll have the tiebreaker on Old Papa's Players. You have the tiebreaker on Kazoo Crazies, which wouldn't even matter because they can't even get to 9-2. So you could essentially start bums. You have to start someone because if you don't submit a lineup, you get randomized. That will backfire for you. You could start 3rd, 4th stringers for 2 weeks. Then you would get a bye. So you essentially would get 3 goddamn weeks of starting nobody. Can I say this again, Old Papa's Players? I don't care if you have to start every friggin' player that is in the number 1 spot of their position. You need to win this game. The entire season for the rest of the league depends on it, because if you lose this game, the dude will be able to start nobodies 3 weeks in a row. Not 1, not 2, but 3. I will do that again. Holy shit. The entire season rides on this, Old Papa. Old Papa, you listening, Papa? Cannot. This is not an exaggeration. That is how this division is playing out. You guys beat the hell out of each other so bad in the Jeff Lebowski conference that this is it. Wally wins this week. He will have gone to great lengths of winning the championship. So, yeah, let's try not to let that happen, okay? Oh, does any other game even matter at this point? I don't think so. Down here, we got Ashley Manning's HGH Supplier. They're 7-1. Similar situation, but the whole league is not at stake in this one. Joel Spencer, he's got a 2-game edge on anyone else. There's a lot of 5-3 teams, so some things could still happen here. But Joel Spencer wins again, and he's all of a sudden in major control of that conference. And then finally, the Kirk Lazarus. Congratulations once again to Bob Ames for winning. I appreciate that. Who did you beat? I got to see who you beat. Who did you beat? Who did you beat this week? You beat Somerset Slammers. Is that old Craigie? Craig Dobbs? Yep. Craig Dobbs lost to the Yeti Express. Finally, Runs Like a Girly and New Orleans Rock Chucks, they are both 6-2. They are playing each other in 2 weeks, however, so that'll be cool to talk about next week. And then also you have a lot of 5-3 teams on there. 8 Miles, 8 Mile, Dark Light. There's a lot of talent there still up, capable of winning that conference. So yeah, games to watch. Yippee-yay. So yeah, seriously, folks, that Wally versus Old Papa's Players game is so important to everybody. Look out. All right, so I'm gonna put the vote up as soon as I post this, and let me know what you want to do. I'm down either way. Whatever. So yeah, I'm back. I will be back next week, maybe with Richard, maybe not. Hopefully this audio sounds good or better anyway, and you have a nice day.